Hey, this is Paul Leary from the Butthole Surfers, and you're listening to Verbal Shenanigans.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hello, everybody. I'm not going to speak in Vietnamese today, Mike.
The ocean?
Just shortly after I spoke in Vietnamese, it seems like our friends in Vietnam have left us this week. There's seems to be no download surge in Vietnam.
Do you feel like you talked in Southern Vietnamese when all our people were Northern, and like you just insulted them? It's like, oh, he's a SoCal Viet all along.
I'm just going to keep egging you on, so you have to come up with different terms for different groups of Vietnamese. I know you will. But yeah, I don't know. Last week we had a giant surge in Vietnam, which always leads me to believe that it's like some random dude's like hacking computer that clicked on our link, and it's just like cycling through our podcast. But I guess we're back to focusing on people here in America. I guess that is the what we're going to do, unless another country wants to come in. We had Bangladesh for a little while. We had Vietnam. I mean, maybe Ecuador. Maybe Ecuador is the next big thing in our audience here.
I want Copa Verde. I want that little tiny country that took it to the Spaniards, you know?
Okay, well, you work on that. Okay, you start tweeting.
Where my copes at?
You know what's funny? How much of a cesspool Twitter has turned into. Have you tried to go on Twitter at all for like longer than like all I ever do is go check our page and to see if a listener has messaged us occasionally, because I'm pretty much done with Twitter because it is so ridiculously filled with just like shootings, fights, just like half naked women trying to get you to click on their OnlyFans, and just like beheadings. Like I feel like Twitter once, like I was kind of in favor of like it being open and not like controlled by one side of politics. But once it opened up, it turned into we might need a little bit of regulation on the old Twitter machine or X.
Now, has anybody combined some of them where it's like you can see my boobs and then I'll behead a person? Is there anything like that out there?
I don't know, man. I don't know. If not, I'm sure you could start it. You are the bringer of death, as we confirmed once again.
I am not the bringer of death, even though thousands of people saw the clip on Instagram talking to Trevor Chirps.
You give yourself a lot of nicknames. I think my name for you, the bringer of death, is a pretty cool one.
That one won't stick. I mean, the 20-some thousand I created for myself, they're all good and everybody will use them and all, but that one I won't allow right there. The fans won't allow it.
I'm surprised you're not on board with the bringer of death.
No. I mean, I have enough cute nicknames to last me a few lifetimes and all, so I don't need that disparaging one right there.
But yeah, Twitter is it's pretty much it reminds me of like the dark web back in the day, like when you first got access to go like to like some crazy sites where you see like it was like rotten.com or something like that when in the AOL days, you're like, oh my God, like the whole feed, unless it's just our feed, because that's the only Twitter I have. But it is horrifying what is on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't go on Twitter/X. I think I still have an account, and Lord knows I haven't checked that thing in forever, and I don't care to update it. But pretty much any site is pretty terrible. Like, I'll give you an example. I feel like
I thought you would like X with the bodies and the boobs, two things you like.
I mean, I like the boob part, but I can get boobs in various other sites other than X/Twitter. I go to sites where there's 3 X's involved, okay?
What about 3 boobs?
I mean, I haven't saw Total Recall in quite a while. I mean, it could bring me back right there. But I follow a person on Instagram. It's called Morbid Facts, where they talk about some like creepy kind of stories and items like that. And a couple days ago, he brought up one. There's a video. I don't know what Asian country it's in, but it's one of them that
Was it Vietnam?
No, I don't think it's our Veets, man. They weren't repping, they weren't throwing the 2 signs up there for the
Please
V's.
stop. Put your hands down. Stop it.
But the V's might come back. What are you talking about?
Please stop it.
So it's one of the countries where they still sell dogs for dog meat. And here's a video. A guy is selling the dog to somebody, and his daughter is there, and she's crying. And like, as the guy gives the dad the money, the girl is like holding on to the leash and grabbing the money and throwing it back at the buyer. And the dad is just kind of like laughing because, I mean, yeah, if you grow up with it, you're so used to it. It's like a farm kind of thing or whatever. And the guy takes away the dog, and obviously you don't see what's next, but you can kind of figure out what happened there. So I put on a comment on there. It's like, yeah, those things really hit me. It's so sad what happens to the dogs in some countries. And somebody replies back to it, and they're like, so do you not eat meat? And immediately I'm like, yes, I eat meat, and don't care if you think I'm a hypocrite because you're nobody on the internet and I will never care about you again. And it's like, oh, well, if you eat meat and you look down on this and you're a hypocrite. And so basically only vegans are the ones in the world that can say it's sad somebody grabbed something to kill it for any reason.
How much money would it cost you to eat dog? That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Don't do it.
Couldn't do it at all.
Couldn't do it at all.
What about human?
$2. Just enough to get a couple things from the dollar store. Plus tax, so I'll have to give me.
It's that weird like dilemma, right? Like if you're if you're in a country where like it's tradition of some sort and it's like in the culture, and then it's like a little weird being like, that's so terrible, even though it is. But like you're like, that's what they eat dog or they eat cat. It's a tough sell. It's a tough sell to like muster up to forget like how much you love dogs to put that out of your mind. It's a tough sell.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, my mom, for a while, she had a chicken coop outside, and they were literally pets. We would take the eggs and use the eggs, but the chickens were literally pet chickens. But at the same time, we'll go out and get a bucket of KFC and not blink an eye, but nothing would happen to the chickens. My mom loved her chickens so much, the group would be pecking on the one chicken, so she made a crate inside of the crate to keep her one extra special chicken from getting beat up by the other chickens.
Now, you never told me that you had pet chickens either.
Yeah.
So, again, 13 years, whatever the hell we're going on. Sometime about a year ago, we learned about this pet squirrel that you randomly had, and now we just unveiled that we had a giant chicken farm. And
don't forget the snapping turtle. Gonzo.
Oh yes, the snapping turtle that you returned to the
wild.
To the wild, yes.
I hope somewhere Gonzo's just like this huge, badass, chomping, snapping turtle and all, just representing the Burlew family creed.
I hope he released Gonzo into the wild and he like went through a bush and there was a road there and a truck just
it took 3 months to kill himself, but it was worth it. I can't live like this, but I also can't run.
Wow. So did you have names for all the chickens?
No, I mean, I wasn't close with the chickens. I would occasionally go into the pen with my mom to help her feed them, but like basically we had a shed outside and they converted it where half was still a shed for my dad and then the other half was the inside coop for the chickens to sleep, and then there was like a netted area outside so they can go outside. And I mean, they were free range enclosed
look at you.
Chickens
ahead of the curve. Free range chickens, farming your own eggs. What happened to you?
I didn't. That was my mom, and I just ate the eggs, and all. I mean, I wasn't close with the chickens. I didn't rep them in any way. They were just there.
It's funny you were saying we're just coming off that interview with Trevor last week, professional heckler. Just check out his stuff on Instagram. But today you sent me something interesting from, I guess it was an insurance commercial.
It was for in
something
commercial for Car Shield. Car Shield. That's what it was. Yeah, I was just watching TV. I was working from home today, and literally the commercial is like they list the baseball player's name. I didn't recognize the baseball player in the commercial, but guy's about to go up to bat, and there's a person in the crowd, and it's like, hey, I don't know, let's say his name is Jorge. I bet you don't have coverage on your car and you pay full price for car parts, you bum. And then the guy is magically next to the person in the stands, and he's telling them all about Car Shield, and he says, well, you live in your mother's basement, and I know this because you're a bum. So they kept on repeating his catchphrase throughout the commercial. It wasn't just guy heckling in the crowd. It's guy heckling in the crowd and literally doing Trevor's routine.
Yeah, which makes me curious now, like because when you sent that to me, I was curious how that works now in the world of social media. You know what I mean? Like, are these phrases in your shtick or your videos? I wonder if there's any protection under like social media or your gimmick, or if it is like the Wild West where they can just snag something because it's not licensed. You're putting it out there on your own. It's kind of like free will,
Yeah, it's a hard thing. I mean, obviously there are copyright things out there to protect yourselves, and I think you have the right to protect certain things. Like, he would have the evidence of all his videos where it's literally, this is my catchphrase, I represent it.
Yeah.
But there's also the other area of there's certain terms and phrases that they won't provide a copyright for. So, for example, every year the Super Bowl, if you don't have a deal with the NFL, you can't advertise or say in the commercial, for example, I can't go, I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper watching the Super Bowl. If they don't have a deal with the NFL, they have to say something else. So everybody, as you'll see, like as your grocery stores will promote sales going into the game, get your stuff for the quote-unquote big game.
Yeah.
Now, the NFL being the NFL that they are, they turned around and attempted to copyright the big game to screw everybody over on that side. And
I saw a news report the other day of someone reporting the World Soccer Championship. I was like, I guess World Cup is probably coined.
FIFA, they ain't giving up a dime. You ain't saying World Cup. In fact, bleep out that last phrase right there. We might get sued. But there's always, you have certain gray areas where you could fight for it, and there's certain gray areas where somebody's going to knock you down. So who knows?
Yeah, I hope maybe he can get something out of it, or maybe he could become the guy on at least the commercials, because that is his whole shtick,
Yeah, you figured they would have gave him the opportunity, but I mean, did they really look at this guy and it's like, he makes too much money? There's no way I can pay for Trevor Chirps and all. I mean, Lord knows we emptied the bank to get him on the show.
That's true. But I will let you know that I did copyright Michael Burlew, the bringer of death. I did put a patent in on that. So don't worry, buddy. No one can take that nickname from you.
Well, I mean, you can free it up. I mean, I will not
No,
be,
it's locked in. I signed like a 10-year patent. It cost me a lot of money. So if I look a little bit miserable to you, Mike, it's because I am.
You look like that every time
Yeah.
I pop
I
up.
would just say not my week to week miserable, a little bit extra miserable.
There's an extra twinkle in your misery this week. What's going on, Scotty?
I think you might remember about 2 weeks ago off the air. I was like, right before we started, I was like, oh man, I got some kind of toothache going on. Like it's kind of bothering me, but let's get through the cast or whatever. Sure enough, 2 weeks ago, or I guess it was 3 weeks ago at this point, I had my daughter's birthday party and great time. And then the morning after, I wake up and my face is all swollen and I can't feel like most of the right side of my face. Like my cheek is all like numb and, everything's real tight and kind of numb. I felt almost exactly like when you have Novocaine. It was really weird and it was really like swollen. I'm like, oh boy,
Did you eat those special gummies during your daughter's first birthday?
Well, of course, but I didn't know they'd have that reaction on my face. So
yeah, you probably should have just got the Hasbro stuff for the kids.
They had a good time, dude. They had a good time. It was a puppy party. They thought all the puppies were real. It was cool.
What?
Yeah, it was puppy themed.
But I like puppies.
Yeah, but it was like for kids,
But I mean, like when you say kids, does that mean middle age people who feel like they're kids?
Yeah, I mean, like kids. I mean, we had a little station where there was like stuffed animal dogs, and you could adopt one. There was puppy balloons everywhere, Mike. There was.
Huh? But I'm alone and would have a smile with a puppy adoption.
So you think I should have extended the invite to you?
I think you should have had the party in my backyard.
All right, everybody, we're gonna have my daughter's birthday.
Like everybody shows up at your house, and they're like, "Why is there a big Greyhound bus here?" It's like, don't worry, in 18 hours, I'll explain it to you.
It'd be even funnier if you flew up from Georgia to come to the puppy party, but had no interest in my daughter or anything around. Yeah,
no. In fact, I would have grabbed all the puppies and ran back to Georgia. They'll never catch me.
No, Mike, there was only one real dog there. That was my dog. So It wasn't like flooded with puppies. So
Benader.
Yeah. So anyway, I wake up and I'm like, oh boy, like this is a problem. And I'm in like a lot of pain. So I call the dentist, and if you've listened to this show, my relationship with the dentist is not a great one. I believe it placed number one in my biggest fears. I believe it's surfaced throughout the show many times. Some of the stuff I went through when I was a kid. Every time I say I'm going to get back on track with the dentist, another couple years go by, and I'm like, I guess I got to go back for something,
Okay, hear me out. We make a new app. It's kind of like Tinder, but for dentists.
Okay.
And you put your profile on there. It's like, I don't want a long commitment with the dentist. I just want to feel some stuff out. I'm new to the game. Had my heart broken or my tongue pierced, if you will, from a different dentist. Have like slow conversations. Maybe they take you out for soup, not knowing how bad your teeth are, and kind of romance you into the dentist chair.
I got the best name for this app that also ties into our show.
What's
you
that?
Ready?
Go for it.
Toothgrindr. It's like grinder, but for teeth, and Toothgrindr was a band we had on like really long time ago.
Now, Scott, I'm going to tell the audience now, don't you dare copyright this. This is ours. Our friend Trevor's got to go through some stuff, but we're not going through the stuff. I just told you all $1 million idea. Yeah, we're going to take that $1 million, but don't beat us to it.
But don't worry, you guys. Michael Burlow, Bringer of Death, is copyrighted, patented, signed, sealed, and it's not going anywhere.
No, we can negotiate given that.
Anyway, so the the dentist app, like, would it be pictures of the dentist or would it be like their work on display?
Yeah, well, you got to have a couple pictures and all, and you got to like test them.
Be a little sex appeal in their dental.
Yeah,
photos?
you know, I mean, you see like a 70-year-old dentist trying to lean on like a classic car, you'd be like, nah, I'm not.
Oh, so he's not even like in dental. Like,
no,
in a dental setting.
He's out at the grow a commitment here before you touch my teeth and all. I mean, well, you know, these other apps worry about touching other body parts, and all. We still need the same system for touching your teeth and gums.
Okay, so I'm curious. Okay, for you, okay, you're not. I don't find you to be the biggest dentist guy either. I don't think. So you're swiping through Toothgrindr, and. And what are you looking for in a dentist? Like, what's gonna? Because don't just tell me like a sexy female. That's too like
no, that's too easy.
Like, are you looking for like, to me, when you said 70-year-old by the car, I'm eliminating to him because old dentists are like, I feel like they're rough and they're not into like the modern, like less invasive technology. So too old is out for me.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm going to say about 40 some odd years old, because that's you got to figure that's the middle. They had probably about a good decade into the business, but they're still up to like the newest crazes and items like that. I want to see somebody who has like really soft hands. Like I don't want no like man hands just grabbing my jaw and ripping it open while they talk about my cavities and all. I need a gentle touch to get back into the game.
So you would like a mid-40s man or woman. You haven't said
either or.
I'll maybe play the field. Maybe on the one photo they're showing like them lotioning their medium-sized hands, or maybe even small hands.
Exactly.
Okay, so far I'm with you.
I mean, maybe a picture of the entire staff, if you will, and let's see how much fun that they are. And if they look stiff in the picture, I'd be like, yo, man, I'm going in there worried about you hurting me or trying to add stuff like, well, I see that. I'm crowning you. That's it. And I want somebody who's going to play with me.
They also look stiff on Grindr, but it's a different kind of stiff on Toothgrindr.
Different stiffness. Yeah. We're not one for one with Grindr. We're Grindr adjacent.
All right. I'm totally in. I'm actually, for once, pretty with you right now. I can see, I'm starting to get a picture of the mind what kind of dentist you would like. You know what we have to do after this? Like a couple of weeks? I got to load a ton of pictures of dentists and have you pick the one that you would, if this was a Toothgrindr.
Let's find a match. Screw The Bachelor, and Toothgrindr is coming to ABC.
We're going to do this, and I'm going to find like maybe some info on each dentist and kind of read it as a profile. Okay.
Another thing, I'm going to look into pictures. I need soft lighting. I don't want my head back and have those fluorescent lights just grinding into my eyeballs where I got to shut it. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm with you. I don't think I would have a preference because the dentist I go to is a dude, and he's probably, I'd say he's probably 50, so he's probably in that realm. And I haven't really. He did have soft hands in my mouth. Okay, he had a couple like giants and like stuff around the office, which I thought was kind of cool, instead of the stale dental office that I picture from a kid, like with nothing going on, or some dumb painting of a flower that is just very generic, you know. So yeah, I'm okay with that. But so let me get back to that. So I go and I try to call on a Sunday morning, which is probably the worst time to try to go to the dentist. Okay. Also on Toothgrindr, they could put their hours, like when you would like to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he calls me back and he's like, all right, you can come in. And in my mind, I'm just seeing the dollar signs go up because an emergency dental visit, you know, I have dental insurance. I don't even know what it's for. They'll be like, yeah, you still owe 200 something bucks every time I go. I'm like, what the hell is the point of my insurance?
That's always like the craziest thing about insurance. So like your regular insurance, it's like, oh, we're going to rip like $280 out of your
Mhm.
check every week and all. Okay, once if I want dental and vision, those two combined are $4.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't make sense, but at the same time, it's still freaking expensive to go see them.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we cover like a cleaning of a tooth.
Yeah.
The rest of the teeth, you got to pay for.
Yeah.
You know?
And they probably don't even come in the room. They just like open the door, squirt a bottle of Ajax in your mouth, and walk out the door.
It's Ajax. Yeah, it's a total scam. So he checks me out and gives me an x-ray and whatnot. And he's like, yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on because our x-ray can't see, but you do have some kind of like abscess going on in there. And I'm like, that's pretty much what I figured. Like, so antibiotics, the whole thing. He says, you got to go to this woman. She's a friend of mine. She's a micro endodontist. I don't even know what these terms mean. I'm like, all right,
That's too kinky for me. You know? That's a swipe left on Toothgrindr.
you gotta work your way up to micro.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah. I'm a rookie at this, and I can't go right to the top here.
So I get the appointment, and they check you out, and she's like, "Yeah, I think it's just because this was actually a relief because he didn't really know what was going on. He was like telling me maybe it's something in your jaw and this and that. I'm like, ugh. And then she's like, I think it's just an old filling that is just kind of like decaying over time, and it's causing like an infection. And she's like, I think you just have to have a root canal. And I'm like, it could be worse. Like we've all had root canals, or a lot of people have. I've had one or two back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually went today, as it's the start of my summer, to get a root canal, and
that's how you start the summer, Scott.
Yeah, and that's why I feel a little bit extra miserable today. I'm a little bit now. Novocaine definitely wore off, so I'm drinking this fine beverage from Dogfish Head, our friends at Dogfish, to try to maybe feel a little better here. But
yeah, I feel like numb mouths need beer to calm down the situation. I feel that's a perfect combination.
That's a bumper sticker. Numb mouths need beer. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. Another $1 million idea. You're welcome, Dogfish, but we keep Toothgrindr. I'm sorry.
And sorry, Toothgrindr, the band. We're taking your name for something else. So
yes, we're taking out the E at the end, so it's going to be DR.
Yep, exactly.
In your face, Toothgrindr.
Well, I have a little bit more on this, but I want to get to our guest because our guest is a very cool one today. If you're like me and Mike and most of the people we bring on the show, I feel like we're always we do a lot of stuff in the 90s, 80s, 90s nostalgia. Like I'm starting to realize that as we do this show longer, like I feel like that's our wheelhouse, and that's where we get really excited about.
If we didn't hear about you 3 or 4 decades ago, don't even bother checking in with us. You hear me?
Yeah, Trevor chirps, screw you. No.
Yeah.
But like examples, like we had Jim Jenkins on a couple episodes ago. I love that episode. I love that interview. I was excited. He was the creator of Doug. We've had so many bands from the 90s, like big alternative bands from that 90s movement, from the Spin Doctors to the I don't know, we've had a bunch of them on. Now this band goes back way further than that. They were in the scene forever, but they really hit it big in the 90s with their song Pepper, okay, and that is the Butthole Surfers. Okay. Now, this band has influenced a lot of bands. They're known for some of the craziest shows, craziest artwork, craziest lyrics, recording techniques. Just a very avant-garde punk rock, do-it-yourself kind of band. And they got really big in the 90s. They had that, they hit that hit and, became a household name. But all these other bands knew these guys. Now, we have Paul Leary, the guitarist of the Butthole Surfers, coming on. But he's not just the guitarist of Butthole Surfers. He's produced tons and tons of albums that you know. The one most relevant for me is the Sublime self-titled album, which I'm going to see Sublime this Friday with Bradley's son. Cannot wait. But Paul Leary is coming on the show, and it's really interesting because we had him on, we lost him, and then we got Paul back a week later to kind of wrap up the interview. So it's a really good interview. So here is our interview with Paul Leary. What's up, Paul?
Hello.
How's it going, man?
It's going all right. How are you doing?
All right. Thanks for giving us some time here, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. I guess usually when we interview musicians or someone who has something coming out, we always kind of start in the past and work our way to the future. But I kind of want to reverse it just because of the album you guys got coming out, because it's kind of something in the future that is tying into the past. So I actually want to start kind of on this release. For people who don't know, people know the Butthole Surfers, but people don't know, I believe June 26th, you have this album coming out, but really it's been about 30 years that this thing's been floating around out there.
Pretty much.
So give us a little insight into how this came about.
Well, we were on Capitol Records, and we had a big hit song called Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had an album after that we made. We recorded it, we mixed it, we mastered it. Capitol sent out promo copies. And then we had a manager that went back to doing dope.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
How'd that work out for him?
Yeah.
And our relationship with Capitol soured, and they dropped us. But they didn't really quite drop us. They just wouldn't put our album out. And so we were still bound to them contractually. So we couldn't put out an album with anybody else. We were just in limbo for a couple of years. And that was a horrible, painful experience. And then to the rescue came Hollywood Records. And they bought the project from Capitol for some big, juicy money. But they wanted the album to be changed. They didn't want to release it the way we had it. So they had us remove some songs and add a couple of new songs and rearrange the songs that were on there. And that was a very painful process because we had the album the way we wanted it. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, we were told we had to do it some other way. And we had no choice but to do it another way. And it was painful. We were never happy with the final product, and I don't think our fans were happy with the final product. And then a couple of years ago, I was going through our band storage room and going through the tapes. And lo and behold, I found the original 2-inch multi-track analog recordings of the album that we had delivered to Capitol. And a little bell went off in my head. It's like, God, I could take this home and mix it again, and we could put out the album the way we wanted it put out, provided Hollywood would release the record to us. So got a hold of Hollywood, and to their credit, they gave us permission to release that album. And so I brought it home and remixed it the way it was originally mixed. And
awesome.
Yeah, everything but the original artwork. The original artwork, I had commissioned paintings by artist Mark Ryden, who I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a spectacular artist. And I drew pictures on a paper napkin in the studio and mailed it to him, and he made paintings for the album cover for Capitol. And then when our record got shelved, Capitol used the artwork for another band. Oh. And even though we paid for it and everything, so which was a drag. So we do have new artwork that Gibby and I did artwork for the cover and inside stuff, and so that's what's coming out in June, and I'm just really excited that it's finally happening.
If you had not found that tape, was this ever a thought in your head? Like, oh, maybe we'll get to redo this one day, or maybe we'll...
No.
Okay. And do you have to present this to the band? Like, okay, I have this idea, and is it like falling in love all over again with something that's 3 decades old?
King was into it immediately, and Gibby had reservations. He's like, I don't, there's material on there that's already been released on the Hollywood version of that album. So he was skeptical, but after some deliberating, everybody realized that it was different enough that we really should release it, and especially since it's the last thing that we recorded. So
Now,
so it's coming out.
if you go play this live, do you guys all have to learn this music again?
I don't know if we could play it live, and we're never going to play live again anyway. So that's not an issue.
Well, Paul, it's an honor to talk to you and all, and just to give you an idea how much I wanted to be at this interview at my house where I have my studio. My gas company dug up some fiber and they ripped out my internet. So I had to drive 40 minutes to my other job to interview you. And I will say there was a split second where I was going to stop into a Taco Bell and use their internet to talk to you. but I wasn't sure about lobby hours right there. So right off the bat, please understand, I'm looking forward to this conversation right here. Right.
Well, bless your heart. Taco Bell sounds pretty good right about now.
We were that close, and then no kidding right there with the timing. But as you talked about the current what projects coming out, let's talk about the beginnings at Boss Studios as you're sleeping on the floor and grabbing drummers out of the streets and all. Were you still in your mind still saying, oh, this is a serious thing, we're going to be musicians? Or was it still just almost like hilarious that you're doing this music?
It was kind of hilarious. You know, we were pretty fucked up. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. We just wanted to see what we could get away with. And, you know, we were influenced by everything from the Meat Puppets to Marcel Duchamp. And we just were into the whole absurdity of everything. We weren't talented musicians. So the thought that we were even attempting to do music and make music and record albums, it was pretty funny, but we had a good time doing it.
No, was it true you were going to be, you were going to be a stockbroker at one point?
I wanted to be a stockbroker, but I never got close. I mean, I studied some finance in college and in graduate school, and I'm just not cut out for that crap. And
I was going to say, are these two?
Gibby actually landed a job coming out of college with Pete Marwick and Mitchell, which was the biggest accounting firm in the world at the time, and he lasted about 6 months.
Yeah,
and then he figured out that he wasn't cut out to be an accountant.
Yeah, because I was going to say, those are were these two sides of your personality pulling at each other? Like, okay, I got to do a stockbroker, but were you always kind of like a rock kid growing up? Like I'm curious, what led you into this sound?
Well, I started playing guitar like in 1962, and started playing electric guitar a couple of years later, and got to play shows in front of the whole elementary school a couple of times, and played in the high school stage band, and I kind of wanted it, but then by the time I got to college, I was like, hey, I'm never going to be a rock star. So I thought, well, I'll be the next Pablo Picasso. So I studied art, and I was like, I'm really not quite as good as Pablo. Maybe I should be a stockbroker. So I started studying business, and that was brutal. I ended up just using my student loans to buy a bass guitar and a bass amp for the Butthole Surfers, and then we just decided to hightail it out of Texas and go to California, and then we ended up on the road for years and years. And the dreams of being a stockbroker, they never materialized, and thank God for that. I would have been a terrible stockbroker.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we wanted to interview you. We just want stock tips, to be honest. We didn't even know you were in a band. Now, we were lucky enough to talk with Jack Grisham from TSOL about a few hundred episodes ago. I know that was like one of the first bands you opened for. Kind of talk about, as you guys started touring and all, what with your unique sound, did the other bands get what you guys were doing? They ever come up and talk about stuff like, I really love it, I really question it? What was those first?
Bands took to us pretty well, and I remember, I think we played one show with TSOL in Houston, but that was after we'd gone to California and actually secured a record deal with Alternative Tentacles. And right after we got the record deal, our bass player and drummer quit, so we came back to Texas, and it was just Gibby and I. And we had an opportunity to open up for TSOL in Houston. And so Gibby and I attempted to play a show, just the two of us. And the kids kept jumping up on stage and playing drums on the drum kit that was behind us. And Gibby ended up naked and his mouth was shoved full of Raisin Bran, and people were taking turns kicking him in the balls. And it was just a god awful show. But we did open up for TSOL. And TSOL stole a bottle of whiskey from the bar, and then we were all hanging out with them on the train tracks outside the club, and they were passing out glasses of whiskey to the bums on the street. It was a good time.
Were you guys like, your sound was so different, and like you're explaining, like it doesn't sound like at some points there was any hope of getting any bigger. Like you're kind of just doing the punk rock existing thing. When you get to like something like Pepper and you become a household name, like everywhere, was it almost shocking for you guys, or was that kind of the goal to finally get, radio play?
It was surreal. It was surreal. That's starting with, at one point, about the time that we did the first Lollapalooza tour, I think it was right before that, we realized that we were listed in Billboard magazine, or one of those magazines, as the top grossing independent act on the road. And that freaked me out. And so we started getting interest from major labels. And then when Capitol came along, I mean, shoot, the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Grand Funk Railroad, Creedence Clearwater Revival, the thought of being on the same label as those guys was just too ridiculous and too outrageous to pass up. And so, I was expecting Candid Camera to come popping out of the bushes. None of it seemed real, but it was real. And then getting to work with John Paul Jones, and then having a minor radio hit from that album, and then having a big radio hit with Pepper, it just seemed like Dada came to life. It was. It still doesn't seem real. I don't know how it happened.
Did that force you guys to tighten it up a little bit, or were you just as crazy as ever, even with the radio hit?
No, Capitol pretty much left us alone to our own devices. When we were making those records, they left us alone. They didn't know how to deal with us. They had no idea what they were dealing with, and so they pretty much left us alone until then we had the big hit in Pepper, and then suddenly it seemed like people were lined up around the block telling us what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, out of curiosity, did you notice like a difference in your fans itself? It's like people showing up, or there people just like showing up and on your first note,
our fans did not like Pepper. We were a sellout by that point. And which I was fine with. It's like, hell yeah, I'm a sellout. That was the whole point, and fans got a little upset with us, and we lost a lot of fans. And 30 years later now, it seems like the fans are back. And it seems like we're kind of having a resurgence and being cool again. But for a while, we were not cool anymore. And that was a little disturbing. I thought we'd build on a radio hit and have fans and adoring fans, all that. And it really didn't quite pan out the way I would have thought it would, but what are you going to do?
Well, let's shift into the whole other side of you, which is producing. And you've done some of my favorite albums. And you've been like, one of them I wanted to start with was Sublime. And one reason being is I'm going to see them in a couple weeks with Bradley's son, which I think, I don't know, the couple singles they released sound phenomenal. I think it's gonna be really cool to see that line up together. What is your take on seeing them kind of once again kind of figuring it out? And now Bradley's son, who was on the back cover of that album that you produced, as a baby being played to acoustically, is now kind of finding his dad's voice and imitating it in some ways. Like how do you feel about that? Is that surreal for you to see?
Well, yeah, I met Jacob. He was, I think, like 1 year old or something like that. He was in a crib.
Yep.
And I went out for pre-production to Long Beach before we recorded the self-titled album.
Yep.
And I was looking forward to a week of practice in their practice space. And so I get there and I can't get a hold of the guys. And then the second day I couldn't get a hold of them. And the third day I couldn't get a hold of them. And late that night, finally got a hold of them. And it's like, well, let's get together for breakfast tomorrow. So I met them for breakfast in this place that served giant schooners of beer. And everybody got drunk. And Bud and Eric took off to go surfing in Mexico, and kind of left me and Brad there just to kind of hang out. So I went to his house in Long Beach, and I met his beautiful wife and his beautiful baby son, and then he asked to borrow $10,000 from me to buy heroin. And I was like,
Wow. Yeah.
And I don't have that, $10,000. Well, you can write a check. It's like, it would bounce, and so, at that point it was like, gosh, is this guy, going to be able to do it? And should I wait? Or it was a weird thing, but we made the album, and it was magic being in the studio with those guys, because you basically set them up and mic'd them up, and then would hit the record button and let them play, and then send them out to the golf course for a little while and chop the tape up and turn the 8-minute songs into 3-minute songs. And
Yep.
and so much of what they did was live, including the vocals. Just
Yep.
Bradley standing in the drum room singing what would usually be scratch vocals, and they were so good. And then, of course, I remember where I was when I got the news that he died. I was in Belgium playing a festival with the Butthole Surfers, and got the word, and it was just crushing. And then Universal Music almost didn't put the record out, until Miguel hooked up with the program director for K-Rock and played a cassette tape for him in a limo with some strippers, and the guy liked it and played it on K-Rock the next day, and then it was a hit, and Universal had to put it out. But it was sad because the band couldn't tour it. And then 30 years goes by, and there's Jacob, who sounds really incredibly like his dad, and is also a very talented frontman. He's very charismatic, like his father was, and it's heartwarming to especially for Bud and Eric, who finally get the chance to tour what they should have toured 30 years ago. So God bless them.
Yeah, I haven't been this excited for a concert in a long time. Just so excited to see it live and just kind of feel
my nephew has been to several of his shows. He hits me up for guest passes all the time, so I get him to shows, and he's been to 4 Sublime shows, and he says they're just fantastic. And
I can't wait.
He wouldn't shit me about that.
I can't wait.
Yeah, first he asks for $10,000 for heroin. When you can't do that, then he's like, "All right, can you give me some tickets?" It's a great compromise.
When you've been very open, I've read interviews with you talking about working with a lot of people who are junkies and all sorts of things. When you're done making that album and getting out, do you have to step away from it for a while to enjoy it again? Like, is all the memories and the frustration about getting these guys together, whipping them in shape, and forming one thing that makes sense? Like, does it take you a while to fall in love with that album again?
A little bit, but that's every album I produce. By the time I've listened to a song 5,000 times, I'm kind of over it. And few years later, I'll listen to it and go, that's now I know what it is I liked about them.
Yeah.
I have to take a break from it for a while. But yeah, with Sublime, it was a circus in the studio. I mean, they set the studio on fire. They wrecked the 3 sets of condominiums that we rented for them to stay in. They brought dogs that chewed up the studio, and they desecrated a Willie Nelson poster, and it was just a circus. And then I never knew what I was going to get. It was like reaching up and picking out the parts I liked and holding on to them for dear life, and letting the rest of it just kind of float into the ether.
Well, you did the right thing, man. The album still holds up, every single note of that album. So,
well, that's a credit to Sublime, because they really are just that talented, and so it was fun and easy to be a fly on the wall that got to say, keep this, throw that away. Nowadays you keep everything because it's all on hard drive, and hard drives are cheap. But back then, 2-inch tape was expensive and it was heavy to lug around, and you had to really take careful notes and know what version was good and which one wasn't quite as good. And it was a different way of making music back then, and that was kind of the tail end of the analog days. And after that, then Pro Tools and digital became the norm, and I felt like a silent film star trying to transition to talkie. It was brutally difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of transitions to my next question. As we talked about earlier, as you were trying to record your own album to now like producing, being a mix engineer, did you stay like a self-taught kind of person where you could figure it out on your own, or were you the person that's like, no, I can't handle this, send me to a class and I'll bring somebody in?
I am self-taught, which is why it has taken me so long to get any good at it. I'm just like, oh, Jesus, I really should not have been self-taught. The great producers, they spend time working as assistants and gophers in studios until they learn the ropes. And I never learned any ropes. I was just like, yeah, I can do that. And then.
But do you think if you had access to like what kids have now, like they could still be very DIY and do things right in their home. But do you think if you had access to all that, you would have been you would have produced the same kind of music, or would you just kind of fall into what everybody else did or does now?
I don't know. We're from Texas, and so we're a little bit different down here.
Yeah.
In California and New York, they have pressure to be certain ways, depending on what era you're in. And in Texas, we never went through that. So we kind of started out with a little more freedom than a lot of other bands had. And so we were different, and bands from Texas were different, and we have a rich tradition of that.
Yeah, see, I'm going to answer for you. I think all your experimental stuff and doing things is what made your sound and your ear and whatnot. I can't picture you like having all these tools after reading some of the stories of how you recorded some of these things.
Yeah, we were unorthodox. It's like I can remember we were living in Winterville, Georgia for a while, and we just set up our first studio. We bought a 1-inch tape track machine that stood about 8 feet tall and weighed 2 tons. And, I had no idea how to calibrate a tape machine, and those things require a lot of maintenance. And hell, we just started slapping tape on it and recording stuff. And, if I took acid one night and the rest of the band went to sleep, well, I wanted to record something. I'd put a microphone in front of a transistor radio and catch some old lady talking about her problems on a talk show, and that would become a basis for a song. And those were fun days.
Yeah.
With your unique sound of the band doing crazy stuff, Harry to Steven didn't have any song titles when it was first released. I'm kind of curious, was there ever an idea that popped up that somebody's like, no, that's too weird for the Butthole Surfers, we can't do that?
No. If it made us laugh, then it was a done deal. And like not putting song titles on the record, that was pretty stupid. I mean, then you realize, gosh, there's publishing money out there, but nobody knows what to call the song, and they play it on the radio, and it's like, this is horse urinating, and this song is man with erection pitching baseball to woman taking a shit. And it was funny and it was stupid, but we never thought, hey, we're making a living and we got to do things a certain way. That was a call to not do it that way. And coming up with an album title for the album Piot, or however it's supposed to be pronounced, that was throwing a dirty sock at a computer keyboard to come up with an album title. It's just the stupider the better.
Yeah. I've heard you say you hate playing guitar solos, but why did you want to make noise, but why is your noise so melodic and catchy? I
love playing guitar solos.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm really proud of the solo on Pepper. I thought, I was like,
definitely. Yeah.
I went into, we worked on that song in New York with producer Steve Thompson, and we were just finishing it up. And so we had the studio on the Lower East Side, and we go in there, and they spent like 8 hours working on Gibby's vocals, and I was there to do a guitar solo, and I sat there for 8 hours, and then I was like, okay, Paul, it's your turn. And, oh, we got to leave. You've got one take.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even practiced anything. And so, picking up a guitar that I'd never touched before and through a pedal and an amp that I'd never played through before, and first take came out like that. It was like, all those years of playing guitar finally paid off.
You did the one on Backwater too, right? The Meat Puppet song. Was that you too?
I did. I produced that, but I didn't play on it.
Gotcha. Now, Kurt Cobain listed you as one of the influential bands that came up with the sound Nirvana. He also met Courtney at one of your concerts with L7, who we had Jenny Finch on the show. I'm kind of curious, did you ever get to meet the man? Did you ever have conversations with them, or was it just lore afterwards?
Well, they opened up for us a couple of times in Seattle when we'd go through town, and then they became much, much huger than us, and so we opened for them on the West Coast leg of their last American tour.
Oh, nice.
And so got to hang out a little with him on that tour as much as Courtney would allow us to. She did not like him hanging out with us at all. She would come, if he was backstage with us, she'd come grab him by the earlobe and pull him out of the room. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
She was not friendly.
We've heard. Like you not only the Butthole Surfers and yourself, like it's not just about the sound. You guys are so involved in like very interesting artwork and whatnot. I'm curious, like nowadays, like when you go, like you said, you had to design new artwork for this album and whatnot. What is your process in going? Are you reaching out to artists that you just happen to like? Do you have an idea that you want to do, or like do you let the artist kind of work?
Well, in the case of Mark Ryden doing the artwork 30 years ago, that was because I loved Mark Ryden, and I actually owned some of his oil paintings, which I lost during my divorce. But it paid for my divorce because I did well selling those paintings. But
she took the oil paintings. Come on.
Well, I had to. She wanted I had to buy her a house, and so I sold enough Mark Ryden paintings to buy her a house, and I miss those paintings dearly. There were some glorious paintings. I had Mark Ryden. I had Robert Williams. I had a few others. My house was a glorious art gallery, and but I now have a great wife who we've been married for 23 years, and
there you go.
So that it was all worth it. But that was back when we had budgets to do things, and once the turn of the century came, all of a sudden there were no budgets. Napster kind of pulled the wool out from everybody, and those were dark days for musicians when all of a sudden the fans were like, "Oh, music should be free." It's like, yeah, my lawyer should be free. He's not.
I would have sent those art paintings to me, but I'm going through a divorce, so it would end up in my ex-wife's hands anyway. So sorry about that.
So, without a budget, the artwork for our upcoming album, Gibby did some watercolors, which he's really good at it. And I did some doodles on my iPad, which is what the cover and backside of the album, I think, at least the cover I know is iPad doodle. And awesome. they're really childish and stupid, but it's what I'm capable of doing.
If you hear like a garage band, like playing around with stuff and people are coming around saying it's weird, would you ever go up to them and say, no, this is how it works and all, as in, keep being weird? Or would you almost like, hey, I was kind of weird too, but this is kind of the professional angle, just an FYI?
No, never. I mean, if I hear a band like that I like, it's just stop and smell the roses, let them be. They're artists and there's no point in trying to influence an artist. Let them be who they are, and if you're lucky to get to produce somebody like that, then you're kind of like a photographer taking a picture of them. I'm not. I've never tried to like put my stamp of my own individuality onto any project. It's always about the artist and what they're about. And so you got to listen to them and figure them out, and you got to get it. So,
yeah. Paul, I'm so thankful you didn't decide to be a stockbroker, because you've made a lot of cool stuff over the years and continue to be artistic. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. So a two-part question here. One is, where can people check out the new album? When does it come out? What can Butthole Surfers fans expect? And number two, is it true that you have a very unique hammer collection?
A unique hammer collection? I've never heard that one before.
No, I've read this thing. Apparently, maybe this was a different Paul. That you buy every time you need a hammer, you would buy a new hammer, and you've collected a whole bunch of
I
hammers.
think you influenced him, like the gleam in his eye. I think he's going out to get some hammers.
Somebody was talking to my wife, and it's not because I have a collection of hammers. It's just because I can never find the hammer. Once I bought one and used it, then I can't remember where I put it.
Damn
Next time I need one, I'll go buy another one. And then, then my wife's upset because there's like 14 hammers in the closet.
I was kind of excited to hear about your hammer collection, but I like it too. Hey, he's back.
Yeah.
Now, what's the weather like, Paul? Just to make sure. I mean, we're going to get in our 10 interviews with you out this if it's raining over there.
There's no lightning today, so we should be good.
All right.
Yeah, well, the good thing is we didn't lose anything. We basically lost the last question of the episode. But we figured, since we had you here, we'll each ask you one question, then we'll kind of wrap, since we're getting, we don't just want to say hi and bye.
If you hear me scream, it's because I'm in blinding, excruciating pain.
Okay.
I broke up a cat fight in my backyard yesterday, and I got scratched, and it got infected.
Wait,
and let me tell you, there's nothing more miserable than a cat scratch infection. It's just the most painful thing ever.
So there was two cats fighting, and you broke it up, and they attacked you?
No, I got up at like 6 a.m. and I wasn't even awake yet. And I go out into my kitchen, and my cat's sitting in there in the windowsill, and on the other side of the window is the neighbor's black cat, who's a bully. And he was making my cat all upset, so I cracked the door open to go out and shoo him away. And my cat just bolted through the door and attacked him.
Jeez.
And it was a blur. I mean, I've never seen anything so violent. And I made the mistake of sticking my hand in there. So
Wow.
I'm on antibiotics now and painkillers and the whole bit.
Oh, wow. I used to vet tech, and I would be going into like the inner cities of New York on Dollar Rabies Day. So I've had quite a few incidents of bites and scratches involving cats.
When they don't want to cooperate, they don't cooperate.
No.
Well, that sucks. Well, I guess we'll
the good news is that the Spurs won last night.
Nah, we're here in New York. We're trying to,
Sorry, dudes.
I'm not really a Knicks fan, but it's at least exciting to kind of watch and kind of see them, because it's been forever. But Paul, I guess my one last question before we kind of wrap here is, I was thinking today, it was like, all the people that you either A, toured with, or B, produced, or C, just played with, is there anybody because you're a guy that never did anything, you seem to have did it your way all this time. Is there a guy that you worked with along the way that stood out so much, that was so unique, that you just learned a whole lot from, or they stood out so much that you're still blown away by how they worked?
I don't know why, but that question made me think about Gregory's Funhouse. That was that was a band from the Northeast back in the days, in the late 80s, early 90s. And it was like a dirge band of junkies, heroin addicts that played this horrible dirge music. And they were fronted by a long-haired hippie who carried a Bible on stage and preached the gospel during the songs.
Okay.
And we played with a lot of weird bands, and they had their shtick and all that. But then last show of the tour, the singer tells me I'm special and hands me a VHS cassette to watch on the bus. So we put it on in the bus. And for the first 45 minutes, it was that preacher receiving oral sex from a underage Down syndrome person.
Huh?
And just as we were like scrambling to try to grab it and throw it out the window of the bus, then it switched to the singer defecating on the Bible that he had been carrying around. He got up 6 feet above the Bible and let loose a 6-foot turd. And then I realized I didn't understand anything in life.
Yeah.
Is that what you need to get into music? I just got to write this down beforehand.
Well, it worked for them, although it probably came with some limitations.
Yeah, or arrests. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, one thing I didn't get into before you left, this Strange VD magazine, are we going to get any new publications of this? Because this seems fascinating. Abnormal medical ailments coupled with fictitious humorous stories and diseases.
Yeah, we were pretty immature back in the day.
You're a little higher than that other group. I'll give you credit for that.
Yeah, that's kind of how Gibby lost his job at Pete Marwick and Mitchell accounting firm. He was using their copy machine to print pages for Strange VD magazine, and one day he left a page in the copy machine, and that was too much.
Did you recall what kind of medical ailment was in that copy machine? Out of curiosity,
I don't recall which one. It could have been shiny putty peenie or taco leg. I can't remember.
I'm so glad we brought you back for
oh my God,
these two questions. So where we were wrapping, my question was, obviously the album is coming out, the new / old album, I guess you can say, for either Butthole Surfer fans that have been with you all along, or people listening today that might want to go back and check out the Butthole Surfers with their new release. What can people expect from this album as far as the sound, as far as what's changed from the originals, and what can they expect?
Well, it's got a lot of drum programming and synthesizer sounds, and it's got a lot of ethereal stuff, and it's experimental like we used to be back in the old Locust Abortion days. So, which would made it a lot of fun for us to make. So it's probably more fun to make than it is to eat. But it's a little bit weird. So we're proud of that.
Yeah, of course, of course. And I'm assuming that's going to be up on all streaming platforms. And is it available on vinyl and whatnot? Or
yeah, it'll be available on everything.
Awesome.
In fact, even CD.
Let's go.
Nice. Bring it back.
I've been seeing a lot of cassette lately. It's
yeah. I got a box from the label, and it had CDs and vinyl. It didn't have any cassettes, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Is there any
very
Butthole
hostile
Surfer laser
medium
discs out there that I can obtain?
I don't think so. Is that still a thing?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Anything that's physical, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, I want to thank you so much for coming on, man. It's really cool to talk to you. I've loved a lot of your projects over the years, and it's just great to see you guys still finding gems and putting them out there to the audience. So thank you so much for giving us some time.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Paul Leary, Mike, is it true that in high school your nickname was the Butthole Surfer? I heard that your brother told me this. I called him to confirm.
You called Henry Robert Burlew Jr.?
Yeah, and Big Wild Hank. He's like, oh, my boy is a Butthole Surfer through.
Lord, that boy might go do some butthole surfing in this day. Let me tell you that, boy. Ooh-wee. The only butthole surfing I saw worse was that time he gave me that disgusting chicken for my Father's Day gift. What the hell is wrong with that boy? Yep, that's exactly how my dad sounds, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely. But yeah, Paul Leary, like I remember that video and that song like distinctly coming out, and like it'd be just being on like all the time. Like the Pepper was just like a huge hit.
It was a great song and a hell of a band, and it was a hell of an accomplishment for us because it took 3 tries to finish this interview. And I will, as I kind of pointed off the air, Butthole Surfers is one of the hardest things to search on anything, because the second you put butthole in Google or YouTube, they immediately go, we're not helping you anymore. You figure out what you want to find. We're not, you find it, good for you, but we're not assisting in this matter.
Also, thank God we had him back to wrap the interview up, because he dropped like 3 nuclear bombs at the end of the interview there. So
yeah, I'm going to be listening just to be curious how you cut it up and all. But yeah, it was fascinating how we had to. I don't know. We brought it up in the post interview, but he lost connection. There was a lightning storm, and then we brought him back. But
and we were at
the end.
Yeah, and we were at the very end of the interview, so we're like, oh, it's okay. We just lost him for the last question or whatever it was. And
also add to it, we kept on telling his rep, no, it's cool. We understand and all. We don't want to take up his time. No, he's coming back on. Yeah, but it's fine. No. He's coming back on.
Yeah, he seemed to want to come back on, and he dropped like shock and awe on us at the end of that interview. So
so I guess he's like a 1.5. I saw.
Ooh, a 1.5er. Okay.
Yeah. I just twiddle that, and
it should. Maybe I should just put out the first interview and then put him out in a second episode and be like Paul Leary, and it's like. But great guest, and the fact that they're still able to put something out and find, I love that stuff. I love when bands are still 70 years old and like still putting out stuff. It's awesome. So part of I was talking to you about my teeth, my face. What I didn't mention is the day that my face was numb, okay, and my face is blown out. I happened to have a show that night. Yes. So all day I was sleeping, trying because I was miserable. I was miserable, and like it hurt to move around. It hurt to play with my kids. It hurt to talk, like anything. But I'm like, I don't cancel. I think I've been doing this stupid comedy thing for quite a while now. I think I've canceled. I'm going to be honest, like 3 times in my comedy career where I've had something come up or wasn't feeling well. But I mean, I've performed with a fever. I performed with the shits. I've performed the worst shows imaginable when I know they're bad.
They much like Gallagher, they had to put up tarps in front of the front row and all, because Scotty just went with it and all. He's a method comedian. Maybe
that's my new angle to get popular. I just take a bunch of laxatives and people come to see me like, when's it gonna happen? Is it during the closer? Is intro?
Waiter, is those 2 girls in the front row? And is that a cup?
Yeah.
You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but like, when is the bubble guts going to hit him? Is he going to make it all the way through? Is he going to have to perform the whole set like with his pants full?
Like you would, like some nights you're going to get the audience. Maybe they're playing it coy, like, oh, we know that his comedy style, we're ready for it, and like you're mid joke, like you're setting up the punchline, and when people are ready for that punchline, before you get there, you just turn and you're like, bam, gotcha. You thought I only did it in between jokes. No,
I'm just shitty Gallagher. Shittier Gallagher. Well, there's the other part of the title. Shitty Gallagher.
That's half the fun of these episodes. Just think of the title every week.
So it was an earlier show. First off, the guy tells me to be there at 6:30. I'm like, no problem. Nice early show. We'll start at 7. Here we go. Okay. I'll be home. I'll be back. The show was 15 minutes away from my house. I was like, nice. I even messaged him. I said, dude, I have like a dental emergency. Can I just do you mind if I just head out after my set? I'll do the set, whatever. I go. And 6:30, I'm there on the dot, as I always am. I'm very on time. And like, I'm noticing I'm the only comic there for a while. And 6:45 rolls around, still the only comic there. 7 o'clock rolls around, one other comic shows up. 7:15 rolls around, 7:30 rolls around, the other comic shows up. I'm like, why did this guy need me here at 6:30? And then he starts going like, no, this guy, perfectly nice guy, great guy, but he's headlining himself on his own show, which I always think is a little bit of a red flag. Like, it's weird. I've run at least 100 shows, and I have never once headlined myself, because a lot of reasons. There's a lot of comics better than me that I think do a better job at closing. Two, I like to get on at some point and kind of get off and feel the, deal with the comics, pay the comics. It's not I'm not having you guys all come out to see me on my show, like my own.
You didn't create this just for the spotlight of yourself. You did it to make a show, make a couple bucks, and work with comedians you like.
Exactly. And I had this feeling like this guy, this was like his come watch me kind of show. All my friends are coming, and like I'm like, the show was supposed to start at, I believe, 7:30. Okay. So 7:45 rolls around. He's like, we're gonna start soon. I'm just waiting for my friends to come, which is another red flag. You start the show, they come late, they just grab a table. Like it's okay. You don't wait for every single person to come. So one comic comes in and I'm talking to her and she's like, you ever do one of these shows? I'm like, yeah, why is he starting so late? I never done one of his shows. He's like, oh, he does this with every single show. He'll wait like 45 minutes till his friend shows up. I'm like, that's terrible, because some of that audience has probably been there for an hour beforehand getting drinks and they're waiting for the show. You don't wait for a person to start the show. They just kind of file in when they get there. It's not,
The only thing you delay is a puppy party until I show up. You just yell at the 2-year-olds. You're not touching the puppies until the Burl shows up. You hear me?
No.
He's not the bringer of death.
Michael
got rid of that trademark.
Michael Burlow. Next thing I mail you is definitely going to say Michael Burlow, bringer of death. And you're going to get more people at your door.
That's going to be awkward. I got to go to Walgreens and pick it up.
Yeah. Sir, we have this case of beer for you under Michael Burlow, bringer of death.
Are you sure it doesn't say Burlow? No, it says bringer of death. Yeah. You're going to have to show proof that you're the bringer of death if you want this beer.
And it's weird. There's a copyright symbol next to it. So, now I'm noticing a lot of things are wrong with the show already. I'm noticing one of the worst things I noticed, there's a big screen behind the comedian where the comedians will be. Now, there's a big screen. You could put anything on that screen. You could put nothing on that screen and keep it black, or just put a light behind there. Now, this person had a digital brick wall on the screen. Now, what I mean by that is comedy is the most common thing is comedy in front of a brick wall.
Yeah.
Okay. It's what the Comedy Cellar is and what a million other clubs are. But this is a digital brick wall, which I found hilarious. I'm like, that is the cheesiest thing I've ever seen. Like, make it some kind of solid color where it says comedy night or something. It's a digital brick wall. And ironically, the walls in the place were brick. So I'm like,
so he did more work for the same result.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to make fun of that during my set. That's for sure. But I'm noticing the host goes up, a host I've known for a long time, eats it. But the sound is so bad and it's just bouncing off the walls. You could not hear a thing. And they have these giant sound system and some guy behind there is like running back and forth trying to figure, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. So I'm up second. I go up. I have half a face. I'm literally like, as I'm talking, kind of drooling a little bit. I get through my set. I could not even hear myself on the stage. It was just terrible sound. And there's an old man who was part of the show who he just kept getting like Budweisers. And I kept playing with him a little bit, but he kept just going like this. And what I'm doing is doing like 2 devil horns.
Okay.
Like, this looks like something you would do every week.
This feels right. This might be the regular from now on.
And he just keeps pumping his fist. And I was, I try to play with him. I'd be like, I tell a joke and be like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this creep over here or whatever. And he'll just be like, start doing the devil horns again. And then to a point where he starts interrupting my set, I could tell the back of the room cannot hear one word I'm saying. And I'm doing this with half a face. And the money was like, he was like, yeah, we'll pay you based on how much people come, but I can guarantee you at least X amount. Money was pitiful when I got home. So rough gig. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is, one, it ties into the dental thing, but I want to go over my recent gigs in comedy. Okay. Now, I've been working very hard at comedy for a long time.
Been doing your business.
I've had some good ones. I've had some hot months, big shows. Now, if you work really hard for 12 years or what it is, these are the kind of gigs you can get. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to go through my my last 6 shows. Okay. Well, I just told you one. Okay. I just told you number one. Okay. So a couple weeks back, I did a fundraiser for a baseball team. Fantastic show. Amazing audience. 100 plus people there, ready to have fun. Great show. Was on top of the world. I love fundraisers. I like the wildness of the fundraisers. I like the unpredictability of the fundraisers. Love them. Okay. Then after that, here was my run of shows. Okay.
Okay.
I did my parents' over 55 community show. Okay.
Classic group. Don't get a dentist there. We already went through that.
So there's people that live in an over 55 community. I will say the average age was probably 70 plus. Okay. So you throw that, which is normally a tight, 70-year-olds, if you're listening, you're normally a tight audience. Throw in my mom, my dad. They're like, oh, your aunt's coming, your uncle's coming, my best friend's coming, and his brother's coming. Okay. Right. So interesting show. It goes pretty well. Really weird audience. Okay. Then the next thing I did was a show in Bloomingdale. Okay. Bloomingdale. All right. I don't know if I told this one on the show. I think I did tell this one. This was the firefighters beefsteak. Okay. The beefsteak, 225 drunk people. I show up. The person who booked me said, can you bring your sound and stuff? I said, no problem. I could bring it. We walk in, nowhere to set up. They're like, oh, yeah, you go over there. Now, all the tables are turned the opposite way of where the show would be. Beer line was in front of the stage. The bathrooms were in front of the stage. And they started an hour and a half late so people could eat their beef. Somehow I had a good set, but the feature, I haven't seen a bomb like that in so long, to a point where it started getting awkward, how bad they just got up and were peeing and like eating, throwing food. Horrible.
They were eating a beefsteak on stage.
Yeah, pretty much a horrible show. No, it was what it was. It was a long night, almost a 2-hour delay, like a rain delay at a comedy show. Okay. Then after that, okay, I did a backyard show. Okay, I got hired by a woman. She's like, I found you on Facebook. I'm like, okay, I have no idea where you found me, but she's like, some mom's group said you did a fundraiser for them. Would you come to my husband's 50th birthday party? Okay. So I bring my buddy Ryan. I'm like, dude, you got to come with me. We're going to do this together. I show up there. They're like, is it okay if like our 13-year-old nephew is there? Then there's like 80-year-old people. Then there's high school kids who just graduated. Not to mention, I walk in the house, they're rich as hell, but the entire backyard is covered in flamingos. Naturally, flamingo decorations everywhere.
That's when you should have done your poop joke. That's where it would have excelled. And if you can't figure out the audience, that's when you just let it spray.
So hard gig, hard gig. But I mean, there was moments. There was moments where it worked. There were some funny moments, but you know, you're trying to work towards a certain level in comedy or anything you do, and you're just like getting beat down gig after gig after gig. You're like, wow, this is interesting. So I want to tell you what I did this week at
Go ahead.
2:00 in the afternoon.
Best time for comedy.
Best time for comedy, right? That is considered the wheelhouse. That's where Chappelle performs. 2:00.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Attell, all the big names.
So sorry. I got asked, okay. I've been doing these. I did a couple private parties for this winery that I did shows for back in the day. There was a whole weird thing where a comic who faked her own death may have stole my show. But he's been using me again. He's been using me for like, he does these winery parties. Like there's clubs that come in. I'm like, fine. And he paid pretty well. And it's a 2-man show. It's not an hour and a half. We're out of there in 45, 50 minutes, an hour max. I get to do whatever I want. He's like, do you want to come do a 2 p.m. senior luncheon show? I'm like,
why'd you even ask?
I'm like, oh my God, is this what it is? But the money is also kind of similar to the other ones I did. I'm like, all right, Ryan, you're coming with me. Like my buddy Ryan. No, we didn't. I said, because that's my thing. I'm like,
so when Ryan sees his phone ringing and your name, is he cursing up a storm knowing that he's about to go to the most bombastic event humanly possible?
100%. When I'm like, I got you good money, but
no. Like you forget his number when you go up to stand up New York, but when you got 80-year-old winery gigs and all, it's like Rhino.
So I'm even like, so the guy's name is Bob. I'm like, Bob, like, what are we talking about senior wise? Like, are we talking like just older people, or are we talking senior, like a elderly housing facility, like
up and coming elders or veteran elders?
And he was like, well, and he was kind of laughing. He's like, well, he's like, they might be stealing the salt and sugar packets during your set. But the only perk to this, he said, you only have to do 45 minutes because they have to leave by 2:45 because the wheelchairs and stuff, they got to get back.
You're just killing and you got to cut off.
Yeah.
They're like, no, the rentals are due now.
Now, Mike, I will spoil the ending. I was not killing by any means at this show. In fact, God would take care of that probably later in the week for these people.
You didn't have any classic World War I jokes that you could have helped get them in their state of mind?
The only thing I could say is it was 2:00. I got there at 1:50. 2:00, I went on. I introed Ryan, and then he did 20. I went on, did 25. We were out of there by 2:50. Okay. So that was good. But man, was that work, man. And you have a couple old ladies chattering. You have a bunch of old dudes, arms crossed, like I don't even know if they knew where they were. Yeah.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
You just say one joke for 25 minutes and just hope they all have Alzheimer's, where every time when you hit on one, you just repeat the joke over and over. And it's like the first time, it's like, yes.
Now, on the other hand, performing for these older people, it's very sweet too. Like, I always say this, like, sometimes you think you do really bad with old people, and then they come up to you after the show and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. You know, that was wonderful. And like, there was a lot of that. What's really awkward, I do a whole thing about anniversaries and stuff. It's not super original content, but I'm talking to this lady. I'm like, she's like, I'm married for 61 years. I'm like, oh my God, 61 years. Everyone clapping up, 60, doing the hosty kind of thing. And I'm like, where's your husband today? Like, is that the secret? And she's like, no, he's dead. I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's when you got to work on your improv stuff right there.
But it's so sweet. She came up to me after the show. Has to be 90 to 90, maybe a couple years after 90. But she's like, I got a couple one-liners for you. And she literally sat there and gave us like 3 one-liners, and it took like 6 minutes to get these 3 one-liners out. But it was so cute, man. She's like, I'm the storyteller at the club. And the one woman's like, yeah, she gets up at our meetings and tells her one-liners every week. And I'm like, that's really sweet, man. That you want to give this lady a hug and be like it. And then another one was like, I was married 71 years and my husband died. And she was pretty good, actually. She's like, he had dementia and he started losing it. And I'd be like, hon, we're married 71 years. He's like, oh no, I'm too young for that. Like, it was pretty funny. So
they seem kind of cute. Did you ask if you could like open for them at one of these meetings one of these days? That way you get back in that sweet 2:00 time zone.
Well, bro, you did tell me you want to get back into comedy. So
dude, I'm not at that level yet. Come on now. I'm too rusty to hit the mark that early. Come on, bro.
But my point is, I will say at 4 of these 6 shows, I made a pretty good penny, like for doing this job. But it is the grind of like any type of entertainment, like this or music, like people taking gigs where nobody's paying attention. Like it's so funny. Like there is an avenue to make some money, but sometimes you trade that with the quality of the gig, or you trade that with the like, is it going to be a memorable thing, or am I just going to go do this for the money? And like, I don't want to do it all for money, but it's also like, I'm going to take these. And like, I will say I am developing a certain level of no fear of anything, which is there is a value to these because it starts to make you a little bit like, I don't care, and let's do it. Whatever happens, well, I'll try my best. I'm going to try my best. Okay. Yeah. If the booker believes in me, then whatever. Like I'm going to try I'm not going to phone it in. I'm going to give it my all. So there is a certain level where it does like, it gives you experience points, like XP in video games, where you're like, okay, I've leveled up a little bit to something else, Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the whole point of when they say take all gigs is to kind of like get those scars and let the wounds cover it up, where you're up there and you're telling a joke and ain't hearing anything. You're clearing your brain. It's like, it's not the old person's home. This is way better. And you just move on, and you're more free to kind of play off of that when it doesn't work and come with new areas and all. And most importantly of all, you probably got like 8 butterscotch candies out of the audience at the end and all.
Not a single one.
What?
Not a single one. I should have asked. For some hard candy.
Yeah. And butterscotch is way better than the peppermints. I'm just throwing it out there. Old people, I mean, if you're getting really good, you get those root beer barrels. Those things are sick as hell.
Well, I believe you're coming up on a big birthday this year. So what age do you start carrying hard candy? Like,
that's a good question. I'm going to guess.
I know you have some years until the hard candy stage.
Yeah. No. My next birthday is not, I'm not going to the dollar store and just like fill her up and put it in my pocket and all. I'm going to say
you're still too young. It would be creepy where you're just walking around.
Yeah, that's way creepier than my age. Can you imagine like imagine you going up to some like 12-year-old and you're like, you want a hard candy. That you would scar a child. Yeah.
The Amber Alert goes off on your phone if you offer hard candy to somebody.
Yeah. I'm gonna say earliest I'm going to accept is late 60s. I think that would be
I'm going
a good
older,
range.
dude. I'm going older. Like I think it's because my dad is 75, and I still can't picture him carrying butterscotch candies around. Maybe women, it's a little lower. Maybe we'll go 73. 73.
Father's Day's coming up, man.
Yep.
That's the perfect gift to give them. And just give them, like, go to like Sam's Club and get those big ass 10-pound hard candy bags and go, Dad, this is the rest of your life. I love you.
I actually thought of another great idea.
What's up?
Because the butterscotch candy thing is probably going to die eventually, right? That was a big thing in our generation.
Mm-hmm.
What if we sold like little tins that like moms and stuff can carry in their purse that's loaded with like the butterscotch, the root beer barrels?
Oh, damn.
Remember that weird strawberry one? It had the strawberry wrapper.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's just called like grandma's purse candy or something like that.
So we're taking like the concept of the Christmas popcorn bucket where it's like 4 different flavors of popcorn, but we're going to condense it and put hard candies in there.
Yes, and it's a little like tin with the design, and it's all supposed to hit on nostalgia.
Ladies and gentlemen, you better not be taking our ideas because we're going to retire from this one day with these amazing ideas, and we don't want you to steal it.
I'm not even kidding. That's a pretty great idea. Like
I'm loving it, man.
I'm going to write that down on this piece of paper that I'm going to throw out later. But
let me tell you something. You design it, and you do another winery comedy show, and you're instead of selling CDs, that's what you're selling to them. You'd like,
and I already got the name of it. I got the name of it that plugs at everyone's heartstrings.
What's up?
Just called Grandma's Treats.
Oh,
Grandma's Treats. $1 million. Nope. Grandma's Treats. I might delete this part of the episode because I'm going to look into making this. Grandma's Treats, and it's meant for like millennials and stuff to put in their purse. Be like, this is what my grandma gave me, and you could refill it.
One more thing before we go to expand on this. So we talked about like butterscotch was like our grandparents kind of generation.
They loved butterscotch.
What's our generation's flavor when we get to the top? It can't just be butterscotch again.
Good question. So like when we get old, what are we handing to our...
I don't want the grandkids of the future calling us unoriginal.
You know what I'm going to hand out?
What you got?
Gushers. the or fruit snacks. Like I feel like our generation crushed the fruit by the foot, the fruit snacks, all that. Yeah.
Maybe something like freeze dried, like a freeze dried gusher, so that way it can stay in the tin forever. Like you don't have to worry about.
I know, but if it's freeze dried, is that big? It sounds so terrible. That big burst of liquid that hits you in the mouth gonna.
We have to get a scientist to figure out a way to freeze dry the outside, but keep the gush going in the inside.
Keep the gush.
Yeah, that's how we're going to talk to the scientists and all. Now, I don't want you to think we're two idiots and all trying to sell you something, but hear us out.
I need you to keep the gush, sir. I need you to. And if you don't, I got to introduce you to my friend, the bringer of death over here.
God, stop pointing to me when you do that. No, he's not taking us serious with keeping the gush in if you're going to call me the purveyor of death.
No, bringer. No.
Oh, yeah, that's the second one. That'll be the offshoot.
Purveyor of death is a good one, too. But what a fun episode tonight. Mike, anything to promote before we get out of here?
I am going to promote for our people up in the Pennsylvania area, City Winery Philadelphia on October 4th. They're going to be celebrating the 40th anniversary reunion of a show that's near and dear to my heart and also has a connection to the show. That show having its 40th anniversary on October 4th is Double Dare, which will feature Mark Summers, Harvey, and some of the other casts. So if you go to City Winery Philadelphia, go get yourself tickets to go see Mark Summers, Harvey, both John Harvey, who was also on our show, and other members of the Double Dare staff.
Awesome. And I don't know much to promote, but just quickly, because Paul Leary came on,
Toothgrindr.
and and gave us that answer. I don't think Toothgrindr is a band anymore. I got to double check, but it's an app now.
They didn't make it after talking to us.
Yeah. I was going to promote the new Sublime album. I think it's a really cool album to check if you're a fan of Sublime. Bradley's son is singing all the vocals, and they kept it sloppy and punk rocky and reggae. Like, it was something for everyone. I bought the vinyl. Paul Leary talked about it on the show. I'm going to see them on Friday, so why not promote the new Sublime album? That's it. Other than that, guys, keep an eye out for Toothgrindr, the app. Keep an eye out for Grandma's Treats coming to you. A lot of Verbal Shenanigans merchandise coming up. But that's it, guys. Life is funny. Laugh at it. Keep the wind at your back.
If I swipe right, I want you incisor me.
Such a mother.